Absolutely. I've come from a business and technology background, and all my education and training is about organising things in a top-down sort of manner. So before I start writing, I want a plan. I want a chapter by chapter, ideally, picture of how the book will pan out. Now, in reality, you sometimes dig down and do a little bit of writing and then modify the plan, but I'm always working to a structure which I keep updated as I go along. It's quite an organised process. Absolutely not. For a long time, I had to, in fact, up until the end of last year, I had to plan my writing around my day job. And my day job was giving seminars and so forth, and there was no way after doing an 8 hour seminar, or maybe four of them in 4 days, possibly in another country, that I had anything left to write. But then I might go a week without having any business commitments, and that was the time to just tear into the writing. So I wrote when I could. Yeah, I love writing. The actual writing is the most enjoyable part of it. There's nothing more enjoyable than the first draft. Then it's harder work editing, but if you've got the right mental set that says that I'm making it better, then that's a good thing to be able to do. The toughest part is the planning of the story. That's where I get the nearest thing to writer's block. I never get writer's block when I've got a plan in place. It's getting the plan in place that can be challenging at times. It's getting, look, the concept's easy. The first act is usually easy. The first quarter, setting things up. The resolution is usually pretty easy. It's that middle half, what you call the second act in a film, and films famously suffer from a hole in the second act where the action just starts to drag, where people are saying, is this going anywhere? Why should I keep reading? And getting something to drive that middle part is the most challenging part of writing a good story. You know the plan is finished when you're in a position to sit down and write. So at the point where I say, I've got a plan for 35 chapters, I know what's going to happen in each one of those chapters. It might be just three or four lines, but I know that my hero has to get from A to B, and along the way he has to kill C or whatever. Okay, then I'm ready to go. Back in my teens, I read a lot of science fiction. So I read all the big science fiction writers, the Asimovs and the Arthur C. Clarkes and the Robert Heinleins and the Ursula Le Guins and the Philip K. Dicks and so on. I would read all of their work. I picked up a Heinlein book the other day that I found at a place I was staying in, read a couple of pages and decided that that was probably something best left as a memory. But obviously that affects, he was actually a very good storyteller, fairly cliched by today's standards, but I learnt storytelling from that. In my early 20s, I read all of Hemingway. I read almost all of Henry Miller, and then you get older, you mature. One stage, I read all of John Irving, and I just singled him out because he attained something that I strive for in my own writing. He can do that, make him laugh, make him cry, make him think. And particularly the laughter. It's tremendously hard to write funny. And John Irving can write laugh out loud scenes without relying on the same old character. And that is extremely hard to do. So I'm an admirer of him. But I don't go dipping back to read other authors to get inspiration. No, that comes from elsewhere. If I wanted inspiration, I go to a rock concert and be inspired by. I went to a Springsteen concert recently, and the guy just, he's older than me. He really, really puts in, and you go away from that thing feeling uplifted without someone taking your voice away.